Okay, I just want to show you how to take your solid bodies from parts to assembly and then from assembly to parts. So let's just open a new assembly. Let's assume that we have our parts already drawn. Okay, then just pick the parts that you want to enter. It's 3A. And then if you don't see your object, you can come here and click on graphic review, or if you have it, is the next object here. Okay, so first thing to notice is that the first object is fixed, which is the square one, and then the cylinder is not fixed. To change this, you can go right click on the object and say float. Yeah, solid bodies. So what we are interested in assembly is to make a relationship between different solid bodies and sort of align them in a way. For example, so one easy approach is to just go to the moving compartment, select the object you would like to move, and then you can either do free drag, holding the key down, you can go everywhere. If you choose along the assembly XYZ, then the first time you move, it defines which direction it's going to continue moving. There, so let's say X, hold the key, move along the X, and then it's not going to move along the other axis. X. Along an entity means that you need to define an entity. So at the moment we don't have an entity. So I'll show you this later. By delta X and X, Y, and Z means from the point that it's sitting, I want it to move, for example, delta X like 20. Yeah, so it's this way, then everything else as well. Then to XYZ position, you define the position that you want it to go. Okay, so let's go back and have a look at align assembly. So to do align assembly, you need an axis. For example, if we want to use axis as an assembly point. So what I can do is I can come here and say preferences, axis, and then for axis I need two plane. So I can pick the right plane, the top plane, and it tells me that this is the where these two planes gonna meet, and we can have the axis there. You can also define an axis for this object, for example. Let's try that one as well. So axis, pick this face. Here, please select two non-parallel plates. Okay, so it needs to be non-parallel. So now we have it here. So we can define this as an axis, and the error with it cannot be parallel. Okay, so now you've got an axis. Let me just confirm that. And if you go to move components and split and select along entity, so now you can have some object you want to move, and the axis is axis 1. Can also see here. So axis 1 is all the reference. And if you move now, you can move back axis. Okay, The next thing to do is in the move component, you can also do rotation. So technically the same thing. So free drag, we'll just move this anywhere you want. About an entity. So if you pick the same entity, now we can move about this entity. And if we pick by delta X, delta Y, and delta Z, then you can define degree, something like that. Yeah? Okay. So apply. Okay. So it's important to understand that this is a very rough sort of movement. And the other methods that we can use to move things in respect to each other is by picking mates.